Boy.
The polls that came out right after the debate suggest, the pundits were saying, well, this is best debate so far. And then the polls came out and they said, I wouldn't want anything to do with this guy.
That's actually the last three debates. The pundits have had to sort of immediately edit their conclusions about who won the debate, because we have this whole Insta-poll thing now, and they're talking up McCain, and all of a sudden the numbers come in and it's 70-30 Obama, and they have to sort of tack a little and
it's impolite to say someone didn't do very well. Yeah.
Right. Now, also the issue of the some of the people in the crowds that McCain and Palin have attracted came up in the debate, and it reminded me of a recent post of yours where you visited some of the darker corners of cyberspace, where I guess they're Facebook pages where they're speculating on Obama's potential being the Antichrist. If you want to share some of your foraying into the dark side.
I think it's a great point. It's a very, very dark side of our politics, I think. If you, first off, people have talked about what people in the crowd are saying. I think what the people in the crowd are saying is really reflecting back what they've been pumped up to say for months by the McCain campaign, and definitely even more so by Palin in the last month or so. And now we've seen in the last couple of days, McCain is trying to get people to tone down a little bit. And I suspect that what's happening is that he pretty much realizes that he can't win this thing. And he's hoping to salvage some shred of reputation for integrity by doing that. Mm-hmm. But just the other night, I learned of this Facebook group in Facebook, which most people know about. People can join groups, people can set up groups for any number of reasons, and I came across this group, Anti-Obama and Damn Proud of It. Uh-huh. And the night that I went on there, there's the front page had a series of posts from people on the wall, and one of the first ones that I saw was a joke about Obama being assassinated, and there was one, kind of lukewarm negative reaction saying, "Hey man, that's not cool." But that was the only negative word I saw about it. And then there is a discussion board with a whole bunch of different threads, and there's one thread seriously raising the question: is Barack Obama the Antichrist, as spoken about in the Bible? Uh-huh. And some people were saying, well, I don't think this is necessarily a good place to go tactically. Some people are saying, what are you talking about? But it's definitely a point that they're seriously considering. Mm-hmm. There are people talking about questioning his birth, something that we've seen from a while back in the kind of the wackier segments of the internet, and no amount of evidence can convince them otherwise.
There's I guess, where's his birth certificate? But it's out there.
It's out there. It's right out there, and they're speculating about how maybe somehow they got hold of a birth certificate and dissolved the ink and forged something or did something to change the embossed seal on the document.
The big irony here is John McCain was born in Panama, and a close reading of the Constitution would disqualify him from running for president. But it was, U.S. soil in Panama, I guess.
Well, I don't really think so. You have to be a natural-born citizen to be eligible to be president. And so some people have said, well, if you were born by cesarean section, that means you're not natural-born. It's not defined in the Constitution. Most people would think that if you were a citizen at birth, that satisfies that consideration. It was a slight issue when Barry Goldwater was running for president in 1964, because he was born in Arizona before it was a state.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. Huh. But there's no serious issue, and no serious commentator would even raise the question.
Right. Why not air the wackiness a little more? I just learned from Rational Resistance, actually, that I don't know who it is, but there's a pundit or writer on the right who has claimed that Bill Ayers ghost wrote Obama's, what is the story behind that? Obama's first book, Dreams from My Father? Or?
His first memoir. It's this guy named Jack Cashel, I think, Cashil. He writes for World Nut Daily, and
I think that's net.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry. Yeah, and he's written several books, all of which are out on the lunatic fringe. And I came across this post where, in a site called the American Thinker, I think, which
Ironically enough,
not much evidence of thought in that site, but he is talking about who is Barack Obama and how could he possibly be able to have written this memoir at the age at which he supposedly wrote it. He took an advance, he had a hard time getting it written, got another advance. Finally, out pops up this book that people think was a masterpiece, and it must be that someone else wrote it because, of course, going through Harvard Law School and becoming the president of the Harvard Law Review does not involve any significant amount of writing. Never. So he goes through this textual analysis, and he doesn't claim that it's absolutely certain, but he raises a whole series of parallels. For instance, Bill Ayers wrote an autobiography some years after Obama's memoir, in which he uses the idea of storms and ships as metaphors for what was going on in his life, talking about something appearing on the horizon as a metaphor for what's going on in his life.
Pretty standard, any port in a storm kind of.
And Obama uses that same terminology in his book, so what else? But must have been by the same writer, right?
Yeah. Huh.
But then the real kicker for him, and he posted an analysis of the sentence length, and somehow that's supposed to be persuasive. And there is actually some study of whether you can do cross-textual analysis to find who the author is based on the Flesch readability test and sentence length. And Obama's memoir is 23 point something words per sentence, and so is Ayers's.
He's got a number.
So he's got a number right there. I read that, and I went through my hard drive and picked out a dozen or so of briefs I'd written, and the sentence length goes from around 14 words per sentence on some of them up to 21 or 22 on some of them. So obviously I couldn't have written them all because they have different average sentence lengths.
That's right.
So it must have been that Bill Ayers wrote some of my briefs.
Doppelgangers out
That's
there
right.
somewhere. Wow.
But what this guy says is the most persuasive fact that makes him think that Bill Ayers wrote this is that in one particular part of Obama's memoir, he uses the word ballast.
Ballast.
Ballast. And
B-A-L-L-A-S-T.
yes, and he never, as far as this author knows, he never had any exposure to the sea, whereas Bill Ayers is a former Navy shipman, some kind of shipman. So who else would know, who could possibly know the word ballast except for someone who has been in the Navy?
It's pretty damning evidence.
Pretty conclusive. I don't know when I first learned the word ballast, but it was many, many years ago.
So this is WorldNet Daily. It's not a paper publication.
It's one of the right-wing blogs.